it up on YouTube later too.
All right.
Hi, everybody. I'm Karen Mays, and if you are catching this, you probably already know who I am, but I am a health coach, and I love helping people with their healthy habits. And not too long ago, I got to know Charlotte, who lives in the same town. We're probably less than a mile from each other right now.
Crazy. Yeah.
And then I met and got to meet you in person at Stretch Lab, which
Yep.
has been so cool.
Yep.
And then I found out just recently that you're involved in something called the 40-day sober adventure. And
Right.
so I wanted to talk about that tonight. First of all, how did you come to be so passionate about that topic, and whatever you want to tell us about yourself?
Yeah, no, of course. Share a little bit about my story of my drinking story, I guess, or how I, got to where I am now leading. This will be my third, where I'm leading I call it co-piloting because it's an adventure with my co-pilot Mary Stewart Dyer. And so growing up, like a lot of people, I had someone in my family that was several that were alcoholics, but I also was I was a passionate gymnast. I competed on a high level. I went to college for gymnastics. So I started drinking at a fairly young age, like between seventh and eighth grade. But I kind of had to pick my moments of when I could, drink. And I didn't drink all that much. And in college, again, like I was on scholarship, so I had to pick my moments. And I always, even from a young age, I always cared about like what can I do to up my game mentally and physically. And I always had an interest in spirituality as well. So all the mind, body, spirit stuff I was very fascinated with, and always practicing like good nutrition and learning new tips and tools of I listened to not podcasts but sort of things on my Walkman as like in college on like
Yeah.
inspirational kind of stuff. But so just fast forward, when I finished college and got out of college where I didn't have to perform and compete, my drinking really amped up. Like I was always one of those people that like never had much of an off switch, but I was able to control it a little bit more. But I noticed that during my big transitions in life, like when I finished college and didn't have to worry about, competing or performing, that my drinking amped up. And I was like the one that we would go out in Connecticut and I'd be like, let's go to Portchester till, 4 a.m. Like I was that person that just got super energized and wanted to keep going. And then when I went through a divorce, and after having kids and stuff like that, that was another period that it amped up. And I spent a lot of time with a really good group of girlfriends. I'm still really good friends with all of them. But I was kind of the ringleader, and look, all of us drank, but when we were together, it amped up, and we would go out. And again, like I had no off switch. So I wasn't like one of those people that would drink every single day. But when I did, it was always toxic. It was always, where I took days to recover, or I spent days in, just lying in bed, all that stuff. And then when I moved back here to my house, if people don't know that I live with my 93-year-old mother. She was 89 at the time, but again, it amped up again. And I got to a point where my body started to feel sick. I started to get some stomach issues, some gut issues. I thought I had chronic fatigue. Like I think my body was just telling me like no more. And meanwhile, like the whole time, my whole life, I'm practicing like meditation and Kundalini yoga and stretching and, all the mind body kind of things that I loved. So it was like, it didn't go with who I was. And I had my last night of drinking. I pissed off some friends. I scared myself, and I just woke up and I was like, kind of like, that's it. And I had done a bunch of like 40-day, and I started to get books and different things on like, drinking and the science behind it. So I was starting to like, but there was a point where I just said, no more. Let's go for 4 months. And it just kept going and going. And now I'm like over 3 years. So that's
Oh,
kind of,
congratulations.
I guess that's
Good
my,
to see.
is that explain my story? But
Yeah.
I really started to feel honestly like shit all
Mm,
the time. Like I didn't feel good all the time. And then when I stopped drinking within like the 10 days that they say it takes for alcohol to leave your body, I felt so different and so good. And I was so excited to have this sort of weight lifted off of me of not
mm,
having to worry about. There was this piece of my brain that was so focused on like, if we went out, we're going to drink. If we go to the beach, we're, everything and anything that was an event or a social kind of outing was always about the drinking and not like as much about the people I was with and the experience. So, that all changed and I just saw the world in such a different way and my trajectory in my life has changed so much and my purpose, I'm like really coming into my purpose and I'm helping people healing their bodies, like stretching people. And then I am a Wim Hof instructor. That's something I'm so proud of that I trained in Poland this past summer and studied for a year for the course, and I'm going to start doing retreats and workshops um, and I'm leading this third 40 days sober adventure. We did the last one during the pandemic. It was hugely successful. And I'm just, I surprised myself in how much I've changed and how much I see the world differently. And I just want other people who are either struggling or know that they need to pump the brakes or want to just try out. Like they want to see what it's like to not drink for 40 days and give themselves that challenge and give themselves that experience and the awareness and change their relationship to alcohol. And myself and my friend Mary Stuart Dyer, who were running this together, we really stopped drinking in a very similar way.
mm,
We both of us tried out AA, went to AA, and neither one of us felt it was our jam. And I know so many people that it's helped tremendously and it saved lives, and I have the utmost respect for it. It just wasn't our path. And the two of us, the way that we both got sober was to read everything we can on the science and what it does to your body and your brain and your nervous system and how it affects so many different systems in your body. And we both journaled a lot. We both did a lot of we call different kinds of yoga and meditation and breath work and walking outside and being in nature and self-care, just all that kind of stuff. And then, so yeah, so the way that we did it and the way that we're structuring our sober adventure is a lot like how we both got
mm,
sober. Yeah.
mm. And did you come to that organically, or were you like this is obviously you had said you were a gymnast and you were into yoga and stretching and all this already, so I guess that came sort of naturally to you, but not naturally, but you were already on a bit of that path. But I'm just curious, did you find that path to sobriety organically, or how did you do that?
Um, not sure. There was, I don't know, not sure I know how to answer that question
Okay, that's fair.
organically. Um,
I mean, did you come up with it on your own, or like were you like following a certain or maybe taking from lots of different sources, it sounds like.
I feel like the last 8 months, especially like living with my mother, and I think I started to get triggered a lot by living in your childhood bedroom, like with
Mm,
your adult furniture. And so when I was going on work events and different things, I was just, my drinking went to it went to a level that I was not okay with. And when you look at pain versus pleasure, there was way more pain than there was pleasure at
mm,
the point of where I said, that's enough. And I kept saying, like, I'll try to moderate or I'll only drink on weekends. Like, people just like, we started doing like, I don't drink during the week or only have three or like, there's all these like,
making deals with yourself, yeah.
right. And you know what, when I finally just said, tried a lot of the different things, or I'd like put an alarm on when I was at a bar to say it's time to go home, like ridiculous, like, all those things. And it just, it happened. Yeah. It kind of just, I woke up and I was like, kind of, that's it. Like,
Mm,
the jig is up. Like, you need to stop this, or you're going to end up in a way worse place. Like, so I didn't hit some kind of crazy rock bottom, but it was my bottom.
you really had your
Was
moment.
enough, was enough to say, you don't want this, your life is going in a direction that that's not good. It's not
Yeah.
healthy. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I
That's
care
awesome.
so much about being healthy. And so
I think, yeah, that's huge,
helping other
right?
people,
It's
like,
really at odds with that, with your overall identity, uh,
yeah.
that finally came to a to a stark reality. So that's, I mean, I'm so proud of you for doing that and taking that, and now you're helping others who want to either dip their toe in, it sounds like, or tell me more about this 40-day adventure and who you think would want to join it.
So a lot of people do the dry January thing, which I think is great. We do 40 days, and it starts on Monday, the 2nd. We're gonna let people, if they want to have a last binge this weekend, go have some fun. But so we choose 40 days. Um, there's there's some science around 40 days, and that's the amount of time it takes to break a habit and start a new habit. So that's why we choose the 40 days. Also, the yoga that the two of us practice, there are sets or kriyas and meditations that you do for 40 days. So 40 days is an important number for both of us. So and I think it is enough time to practice. I say practice because people are just going to practice not drinking, right? And not everyone is going to do the 40 days. Not everyone, and that's okay. Like, some people are going to do 3 days and they're going to drink, and then we're going to cheer them on and they're going to start back up the next day, and maybe they'll do 5. They're going to string some more together. So where was I going with this? Yeah, so the 40-day sober adventure. You want me to tell you a little bit more about the program?
Yeah, if people want, if people are listening and they're interested, like, um how, who is it for?
Yeah.
And if they want to join, what should they do?
So it's for the person that is sober curious, that they want to see what it's like to go to try to practice not drinking for 40 days. And for that person that is starting to scratch their head and say, I'm drinking a half a bottle or a bottle of wine a night, or I'm drinking every weekend to the point of oblivion, or I'm worried about my drinking, or they're Googling, do I have a drinking problem? Most
Mm.
likely, I'm not going to say that that person needs rehab or like a doctor to get off drinking, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to be that far gone to have some issues with drinking. And let's be real, alcohol is ethanol, it's poison. It does horrible things to our bodies and our minds, and more and more and more of the science is coming out to tell to share. We're gonna hear more and more about this, about the science and what it does to our bodies and our brains. But so it's for that person. And then we do have people that have already signed up that are maybe a month or 2 or 3 in, and they want to up their toolbox, because we're going to be giving people a plethora, like just a huge toolbox to use during this period. We're going to have mini science lessons. We're going to have self-care tips. We're going to have meditation, breath work. We're going to have weekly yoga classes. So they're going to get 6 yoga classes during
Wow.
the sober adventure, which is a really, for what we're charging, it's just a major offering, a massive offering. And we also, one of my favorite things about it is that people check in. We have a check-in daily. So you could watch from the sidelines and watch everyone the whole, or you could join. Most people jump in and they say how they're doing. Let's just say day 1, day 2, all the way through the 40 days, and they say how they're feeling. So some people may say they're really frustrated and the night before they screwed up and they had a drink and their husband pissed them off or their wife pissed or whatever it was, like they just tell their story and how they're doing. And someone else may say, I was craving and I ended up taking a really nice walk with some great music playing and I got through my trigger. And like you said, it only lasted 20 minutes. And I'm so proud of myself because I really wanted to drink last night. So we're just, so, you know, you have every day people check in and then people are just like day 10 feeling good. You know, I mean, it just depends. But the group gets really tight and people get to know each other and we all get close and we're all just cheering each other on. And it's just a really supportive, safe space for people. So.
That sounds wonderful. It really does. And I think what attracted me to it, we were talking a little bit um about, about me and why I think this is so cool is in my health coaching community, like I'm the community person. And so I just love that you're bringing people into this community and that you talked about, maybe they make it 3 days and then then they have a drink or a slip up or whatever you want to call it. And then we invite, they're invited to come back. It's not a, you know, it sounds really supportive and wonderful. And so uplifting. So I think that's really, really powerful. And I also hear, and I remember watching one of your live videos, maybe around Thanksgiving about, and a lot of the things you were recommending to people are like, oh, these are so similar to the things that I talk about with my clients when it comes to emotional eating and strategies to help them with that, which is one of, something that's near and dear to my heart because that's something I work on every day as well. But it's really, really interesting. And one thing I've learned is that when people want to do something, it really pays to start hanging around with people who are trying to do it too. And so I think it's really, really cool. Do you want to let people know how much it costs to join?
Yeah, I was just going to say one more thing. I think at the end of the day, at the end of the 40 days, and at least last time, every single person that joins a 40 adventure will end up having a lot more awareness around their drinking and they will have a healthier relationship with alcohol, whatever that looks like. Whether that looks like they want to not drink ever again, or that looks like they want to do another 40 days, or they want to drink again but just have one. So that's what I've seen from the first two that we did, which, I was so proud of those groups. And there's people from those first groups that are still sober. So yeah. So it's a really good price, guys. It's $64, which comes out to like $1.60 a day for 40 days. And then, as I said, you get all the toolbox and the daily check-in, daily coaching from us, the supportive community, and then 6 yoga classes and lots of other really good things. And you can have access to it afterwards too.
Oh, that's awesome. And you're running it out of a Facebook group? Is that how you run it?
A private Facebook group. Yep.
Okay.
And we can I can share the link, or you might have the link.
Yeah. Maybe you want to put it in the comments of the Facebook Live. That would be great. So people can get through that.
I will put it in the comments. And if anyone has any questions and just is sort of feeling on the fence and not sure and just wants to, I'm really happy to talk to anyone and help.
Great.
Happy to help, really. So
I'm so excited and for it. And I can't wait to hear how it goes from you in a confidential sort of way. But I think it's really exciting. And New Year's is I know New Year's resolutions get a bad rap, but I love this time of year. I love thinking about what I want to create in the new year. And so I think it's cool, really awesome that you're bringing this to this time of year, this energy, and goodness knows the holidays we could all use a little reset, I think.
Yeah. And I think resolution, I heard this from I think Gabby Bernstein, who said, let's like take the resolutions off the table and say intentions, like put intentions, or maybe even like, this is maybe too woo-woo, but manifestation. But I don't know. I'm fine with resolutions, whatever works for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you. I'm gonna end the live. Let me do that. Okay. The live